Tonight, I will share two stories: The Man Loved by the Mountain and The Mandarin Orange and the Crow. The setting is old Japan. After the stories, quiet music will continue for a while. Please relax and enjoy the peaceful night. The Man Loved by the Mountain. Yosaku lived in a small village, but from time to time, he spent nights in a small cabin deep in the mountains. It was not his home. Still, it was the place closest to the mountain. Whenever Yosaku cut trees in the forest, he always spoke quietly in his heart. "Please allow me to borrow this tree. Thank you, mountain." He never said the words out loud, but his feelings never changed. To him, the mountain and the trees were living things. That was why he believed they should be treated with care. One winter morning, he found a pile of firewood in front of the cabin. The wood was dry, neatly arranged, and ready to use. Yosaku felt someone's presence, but saw no one. After that day, similar things continued to appear. A bucket filled with water, a sharpened axe, a small bag of mountain berries. It felt as though someone was quietly supporting his life. At night, he sometimes heard footsteps on the snow, but whenever he turned around, there was nothing there. Over time, Yosaku stopped feeling fear. Instead, he began to feel certain of something. This was not a prank. It was not coincidence. The mountain was returning something to him. As spring slowly approached, Yosaku walked deeper into the mountain. He could not explain why. He only felt that he needed to go. Beyond a snowy slope, he found a small cabin. Inside were things he recognized: a small wooden flute from childhood, stones he once collected in the mountains, old tools he had long forgotten. Then, behind him, snow softly cracked. When he turned around, a woman was standing there. Her long hair moved slightly without wind. She did not feel like an ordinary person. She felt as quiet as the mountain itself. The woman looked at Yosaku and gently narrowed her eyes. "So you finally came here." Yosaku searched for words. "Was it you? Were you the one leaving those things?" The woman nodded. "Yes, the mountain wished for it." After a short silence, Yosaku asked, "Why did you never show yourself?" The woman quietly looked toward the trees. "There was no need. You were already receiving it." Yosaku did not fully understand her words, but he understood one thing. What he had received was not a reward. It was not repayment for kindness. It simply existed there, quietly. Then Yosaku asked, "Can I continue to stay here?" The woman looked toward the mountain again. "That is something nature decides, but you already know the answer." After that, silence remained between them. It felt neither like a farewell nor an ending. The woman was gone, but several mountain berries had been left in front of the cabin. They looked carefully gathered by someone's hands. It was not a message. It was not an explanation. It felt more like a quiet response. Yosaku picked them up. They were not warm, yet somehow they did not feel cold either. Years passed. Yosaku married and had children. His wife passed away while they were still young. After that, Yosaku raised the children by himself. There were difficult days, sleepless nights as well, and yet he never truly felt alone. On windy nights, at quiet sunsets, on mornings when he entered the mountain, he always felt that something was gently staying beside him. As the years passed, the children grew up and built families of their own. One day, his son said to him, "You should stop living alone. Come live with us." But Yosaku quietly shook his head. "I feel calmer near the mountain." After that, he spent more and more time in the mountain cabin. Strangely, the older he became, the quieter the mountain seemed, or perhaps it was his own heart becoming quiet. One day, he suddenly thought, "I want to see that small cabin again." He searched the mountain from memory, but no matter where he went, he could not find it. He was certain it had once existed there. Still, the cabin never appeared. Yosaku smiled quietly. Maybe it is still too early. More years passed. Then one snowy day, Yosaku entered the mountain again. There was no reason, but his feet never lost their way. And before he realized it, the small cabin stood before him once more. No smoke, no sound. It simply stood there in silence. Yosaku smiled softly. "So we finally meet again." The woman stood at the doorway. She looked exactly the same as before, as though only the seasons had changed, while she remained outside human time. The woman gently narrowed her eyes. "You took a long time." Yosaku smiled happily. "I was thinking the same thing." The two sat quietly in front of the cabin, watching the mountain together. They did not speak very much, yet the silence between them never felt empty. At last, Yosaku quietly said, "I was happy." The woman said nothing. Only the mountain wind moved softly through the trees. Before he left, the woman handed him a small wooden carving. It was shaped like a mountain bird. "Please take this with you." Yosaku carefully accepted it. Several days later, his son visited the mountain cabin. He had been worried about his father. Inside the cabin, Yosaku sat peacefully. There was no sign of pain. If anything, he looked relieved. In his hand was the small wooden bird carving. Outside the window, the wind quietly moved through the trees, as though someone were still there beside him. His son gently took the carving from his father's hand. It should have felt unfamiliar, yet somehow it felt nostalgic, as though it belonged to a memory he could not quite remember. The Orange and the Crow. Long ago, near a mountain village, there was an orange tree. Among oranges of many different sizes, there was one very small orange growing on the tree. The oranges often talked about things like this: "The oranges that travel far are the greatest." The small orange often heard stories like these. One orange reached the next town. Another orange crossed the far mountains. Whenever the small orange heard those stories, it looked up at the sky.
"I want to travel far too. It would be amazing to see the sea."
That feeling grew a little stronger every day. One day, a crow came to the tree. The crow landed on a branch as if everything was troublesome. Its wings were large, but it had no motivation at all. The crow said,
"What?"
The small orange said.
Your wings are really big.
The crow answered.
I know.
You look like you can fly very far.
The crow moved its wings a little.
I can fly far, but that does not mean I want to.
The small orange smiled a little.
Then you can carry me on your back.
The crow opened one eye.
Just carrying you is easy.
The small orange continued.
But flying is probably a pain, right?
The crow flapped its wings.
Flying is easy enough.
The small orange continued speaking.
Then you can reach the next village?
I can.
But you probably cannot reach the hill where the sea can be seen, right?
The crow became quiet. The mountain wind gently moved the branches. Then the crow said,
I can go there. I just have never gone there before.
The small orange answered quietly.
Then try carrying me there.
The crow sighed.
Why do I have to carry you anyway?
But the small orange ignored the question. The small orange kept talking.
I wonder if the sea is blue.
I do not know.
I heard the wind smells salty there.
I said I do not know.
The small orange looked at the sky and said,
I really want to see the sea. I bet it is beautiful.
The crow stayed quiet for a while. Then it said,
All right.
The crow placed the small orange on its back.
Do not fall.
I will probably be okay.
Then the crow flew into the sky. At first, it was only movement, but every time they crossed another mountain, the small orange became so excited that it almost rolled off the crow's back.
Wow, the trees look so small.
That is because we are high up.
The clouds really are white when you see them this close.
Of course they are.
The crow sounded a little tired, but after a while, the crow's flying slowly began to change. It started flying a little higher, as if searching for better wind. Eventually, the smell of the air changed. The crow said,
The air feels different now.
The small orange answered.
Maybe that is the sea.
As they continued flying, something blue began shining in the distance. The crow said,
I can see it now.
The small orange could not speak for a moment. Then it said,
I have never seen anything like this before. Amazing.
The crow landed on a hill where the sea could be seen. The small orange was gently placed on the ground. The sea wind quietly moved around them. The crow said,
That was a strange request.
The small orange answered happily.
Crows are amazing. Thank you.
The crow moved its wings a little awkwardly.
It was nothing. I just felt like doing it.
Then the crow quietly flew away. The small orange watched the crow flying farther and farther away. But as the crow became smaller in the distance, the small orange began to feel lonely. Then it whispered,
Now I am all alone.
Meanwhile, back in the mountain village, rumors about the small orange began to spread. They say the small orange reached the hill where the sea can be seen. Everyone was surprised. That is amazing. It traveled that far? Among the oranges was one large and shiny orange. That orange had always been close friends with the small orange. The other oranges said, You could travel even farther. You might even cross the sea. But for some reason, the large orange looked a little lonely. One day, the crow returned again. As the crow landed on the branch, it said,
I came back.
The large orange immediately asked,
Was the small orange doing well?
The crow answered,
Yeah, it spent every day looking at the sea.
The large orange smiled a little after hearing that. After a while, the crow asked,
Do you want to travel far too?
The large orange answered quietly,
Yes, I used to think so.
You used to?
Yes.
The crow tilted its head.
So you changed your mind?
The large orange thought quietly for a moment. Then it answered slowly.
I still do not know.
The crow said,
We'll get on anyway.
The large orange climbed onto the crow's back. Again, they crossed mountains and flew through the wind. Halfway through the journey, the crow said,
Huh? Why am I always carrying oranges around?
The large orange answered.
Do not worry about it.
Then they continued flying. Soon, the sea came into view again. The crow asked,
Want me to take you somewhere even farther than this?
The large orange quietly looked at the sea. Then it answered.
No, this place is enough.
The crow asked.
Are you sure?
The large orange answered.
Please take me near the small orange.
The crow quietly landed on the hill. The small orange was there. The small orange looked very happy. The large orange also looked happy. The crow asked curiously.
I thought you wanted to travel far away.
The large orange looked at the small orange and answered.
I wanted to go farther than anyone else.
Then the large orange smiled a little.
But being together with the small orange makes me happier.
The sea wind quietly passed across the hill. The crow stayed silent for a while. Then it said,
That is not so bad.
Then the crow quietly flew back into the sky. After that, more orange trees slowly began to grow on the hill. No one planted them. The orange trees quietly stood together while the sea wind moved through their branches. And that concludes tonight's stories. Please enjoy the quiet music for sleep and relaxation.